Welcome to this quick demonstration of Roster Wizard. Roster Wizard is an application for automatically generating rosters. It handles skill mix requirements, shift sequences, and staff requests. It's great for creating shift rosters. You can enter all your staff in, how many shifts per roster they work, whether they're available for working shifts, and what their roles are. The roles are important for when you want to specify skill mix rules for each shift type. You can enter the shift types. For example, here we've got early, late, and night, and CF. This particular roster is for a hospital medical ward, so it's a shift roster for nurses. You can enter skill mix rules, which is basically specifying what roles are required for each shift type, and you get multiple options. For example, here we've got several options for early shift, and the roster, when it's being generated, just has to pick one of those. They're all valid. Okay, for example, this first option here says you need one CN staff member, one SRN staff member, and two JRN staff members. And there's several other options, as I said. You can also configure shift sequence rules. These rules basically specify what shift sequences staff are allowed to be rostered for. For example, here I've got a rule saying no staff member can work 10 days in a row, or at least the staff member listed here. You can have other things like you can't work an early shift, late shift, or a CF shift after a night shift. You can have rules like you can't have a single day off, it needs to be at least two. And you can have rules like that no single day on, so you can't just be rostered to work one day. You have to be rostered a minimum of 2 days in a row, and you can specify which staff these rules apply to. So skill mixes and shift sequences are rules that can't be broken when the roster is being generated. You can also specify staff that are on leave so that they're not rostered while they're on leave. Staff can also have requests, which the roster software will attempt to maximize. So this staff member's got several requests entered. You can edit each staff member's requests. The default for each shift is don't care, meaning the roster software can schedule that person for that shift, but they can change their request to be yes, I do want to work that shift, or no, I don't want to work that shift. And when the roster is being generated, the software will attempt to maximize the staff requests. If you have staff requests that potentially clash, you can actually change the priority of each one too, so you can determine which staff request gets preference over another. Okay, we'll go on to generating a roster. If we click Generate New Roster, we specify the start date for the roster. I'm going to pick 12th of August. And it's now processing all the rules and staff details and generating a roster for the roster period. This particular roster is a 28-day one, so it'll take a little while to generate, but it's obeying all the skill mix rules we specified, all the shift sequence rules we specified, ignoring the staff that are on leave, not rostering them, and then attempting to maximize as many staff requests as possible so staff get the shifts that they want to or don't want to work. Just takes a minute or so depending on how big your roster period is and how many staff you have and how many rules you have. You can see here in yellow it's showing the current roster period, just so we can keep track of what roster period we're looking at. You can see now it's just finished generating a 28-day roster for the staff. The default display is having all the staff down the left-hand side and the dates along the top. So you can see here the X's are when a staff member is not rostered on, and the other things are actually naming the shift that they're working on a particular day or whether they're on leave. You can also look at rosters by day, so it lists the shift for each day and who's working it and what their roles are. So that's handy just to make sure that the skill mix rules have been obeyed, for example. Okay, you can also change your roster period here. You can also do it by clicking on the yellow display there if you want to change to a different roster period and either generate one or view one that's already been generated. One final feature, you can also download the roster as a CSV file, so it can be imported into a spreadsheet when you click that. So I'll just do that. I'll download it as roster.csv, click save, just overwrite the one I already had there. Just wait for it to download, and then I can open it with Excel. The advantage of that is you can store it on disk if you want, or email the spreadsheet out, or you can change the formatting and print it how you want. Okay, that concludes this short demo of Roster Wizard. I hope you found it informative. Thank you.